very good afternoon to you and welcome to News Video and TV 47 on the second day of July. Do send us your feedback at TV47 Kenya across all social media platforms with W2047 being our SMS line. Starting off, CIA leaders led by Senator James Orengo have accused the Kenya Kwanza Alliance of copy-pasting Azimio la Umoja's manifesto, claiming that the team leader and presidential hopeful William Ruto is responsible for that. The leaders have challenged William Ruto to develop an original blueprint on how he intends to fight corruption in the country and uplift the lives of Kenyans should he become the president come August.
Ruto came late and he's come with a manifesto which is full of generalities without specifics, full of promises that cannot fulfill. When RAILA says, I'm going to give poor families 6,000 shillings each, RAILA tells you where he's going to get the money. Ruto is not telling us how he can make Kenya a middle-income country. I'm giving him 10 out of 100. Very poor. That is D in performance. And let me tell you one significant thing that the whole world knows, that Kenya is bedeviled with corruption. RAILA, with his running mate Martha, are very clear on the issue of fighting against corruption. They have told us exactly what they are going to do. Instead of Ruto coming clearly and openly and directly that I'm going to fight corruption, he says, I am going to fight against the weaponization of the criminal justice system. Sasa hiyo kizungu nyingi, wewe utapigana na ufisadi ama msimamo yako ni gani? Inaonekana hamna msimamo, wewe uko bure kabisa, na afadhali uende Sugoi, uache RAILA aanze kazi.
Still on manifestos, KIAMBU Governor James NYORO has launched a 5-pillar manifesto anchored on principle of Azimio la Umoja Coalition Manifesto, focusing more on improvement of health sector to fight non-communicable diseases, where he intends to renovate and build level 4 and 5 hospitals and increase bed capacity to 1,500. Speaking during the launch, NYORO said his government has remodeled KIAMBU town planning to accommodate new housing plans which will absorb ever-increasing rural-urban migration, which will also boost plan to elevate Thika town to a city status. On agriculture, he pledged to support farmers with inputs and startup funds where farmers will be trained on modern ways of agribusiness and producing farm feeds. At the same time, he promised to improve ECD schools and vocational training centers across the county to give specialized skills that will empower youth to be self-reliant, linking them with markets where 2.5 billion shillings will be pumped to fund and cater for vulnerable people in the village.
People every day that you've taken a shower. You don't tell people every day that you have changed your clothes. These are basic necessities. Providing these things is not an honor, it's not a privilege. It is something, and we'll go into it to see how we are going to do it, because it is not what we will do, it is how we are going to do it. We have talked about economic empowerment. You have seen the GNUA Fund is one of it, but we need to look at what else that will make us rich and will make KIAMBU people who have better or pesa mfukoni. We'll talk about urbanization and housing, as I said. We keep on hearing about concrete jungle. We keep on hearing that we are uprooting our coffee to put up real estate. What is our solution? Where do we see ourselves going? The next pillar, so that's the second pillar. So the first pillar is on service delivery, an efficient service delivery. The second pillar is on economic empowerment. The third pillar is urbanization and housing, and we'll talk about that. The fourth pillar is very, very important. It is citizen socio-economic governance. Tunaiita sera mashinani. It is how you hold us accountable. And we'll talk about that. But mainly ask yourself, who decides which road is going to be done? Who decides that it is either road and not water?
Still in KIAMBU, a section of KIAMBU elders led by Kiama County Chairman Njoroge Minae has dismissed claims that Deputy President William Ruto met with the Kikuyu elders at his current residence in Nairobi. Addressing the press when they hosted KIAMBU Governor James Nyoro at their shrine in Juja, the elders maintained that the Mount Kenya region is firmly behind President Uhuru Kenyatta's political stand and will massively vote for Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga in the next general election. The elders have also endorsed the KIAMBU governor, arguing that he had transformed the county during the shortest period he has been in office.
Wazee sijui alipewa ulimi gani wakasikia mzuri waende kwa Deputy President huko Karen. Lakini sio uongozi wa KIAMBU ama wa Murang'a. Ni wale tu walisikia sijui huyo mzee sijui akona pesa ya kutosha ama ni nini, ni wale tu hawezi kosa kwa society, ni walienda huko. Lakini sio sisi wasetu keti bari fulani tukatuma kudi fulani huko. Hata watu tunawasihi sana wakienda huko wakichukua ile kitu watachukua, warudi kwetu tuwe na safari moja tukienda tarehe 9 na ndio tuchague mwenye ambaye tumeomba Mungu na ametuonyesha njia ni gani.
We want to have a technical knockout. That is our candidate for Azimio to give the other candidates a technical knockout 50+1. And that is what wazee wa Kiama have resolved.
Now on to health matters. As the world grapples with the COVID-19 pandemic, health experts in the country have called for stronger health systems and accelerated investment in the sector to better handle pandemics that may arise in the future. And as Elizabeth Atieno now reports, strong disease surveillance systems and building capacity of vaccine manufacturers are some of the crucial interventions suggested by experts to hasten the development of the health sector.
The outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic unearthed many emergency health challenges across the globe. For instance, it has since been discovered that Africa continues to shoulder the largest burden of endemic diseases in the world.
And if that outbreak becomes widespread beyond that small community, then it becomes an epidemic. And if it now goes beyond multiple countries, it becomes a pandemic.
This brings to focus the urgent need to address the underinvestment abound in Africa's health sector, especially the pharmaceutical sector, as the continent is still struggling to expand rollout of the COVID-19 vaccines, which has so far been administered to only 17% of the population. In a bid to curb these challenges, health experts have intensified calls for proactive actions against pandemic mitigation at the local and international level to save both lives and livelihoods.
That if you're going to be prepared for pandemics, then it means you must be able to avoid outbreaks. You must be able to identify disease threats that turn into outbreaks very early.
In its Strategic Preparedness, Readiness and Response Plan 2022, the World Health Organization has warned that without swift and coordinated action to strengthen the global architecture for pandemic preparedness, the cost of the next pandemic are likely to exceed those of COVID-19.
Really, we cannot afford not to have the approach of One Health. What that means is that we cannot leave any of the pillars behind. So if it comes to investment, we have to ensure that all the pillars are well resourced.
Amref Health Africa Group CEO Dr. Githinji Gitai now warns that COVID-19 is just the tip of the iceberg, as many pandemics are likely to arise in future. Hence the need for Kenya to work with international markets to scale up pharmaceutical capacity.
There's nothing that is called a pandemic from ground zero. So there are several layers then to think about. If you're going to be pandemic prepared, you must be outbreak prepared.
The World Health Organization notes that the unprecedented acceleration of research and development seen during the COVID-19 pandemic must be sustained to address other public health emergencies. Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that report. Moving on, KIRINYAGA Senator and Jubilee gubernatorial candidate Charles Kifiro now wants IEBC to prepare a manual register to be used as a fallback plan if the KIMS kit register fails to work in the August polls. Speaking after meeting Jubilee delegates at Sagana Town, Kifiro said IEBC should ensure that it has a fallback plan that will ensure elections run smoothly.
Na electronic, unajua hii ni teknolojia, inaweza ikakwama mahali pengine. Kwa hivyo mimi ningetaka kuunga, hatuwezi tukasimamisha uchaguzi kwa sababu kitu imekwama. Vile ningesema ni tuangalie hiyo process ikuwe ya haki na ikuwe na usawa na ikuwe open, hivyo isikuwe opaque. Mimi ningesema tufuate vile watu wengi wanasema, ikikwama tunaendelea. Ningetaka kusema hivi, integrity ni kitu ya muhimu. Na kama wewe kwa haki, kwa roho yako, unajua uko na certificate fake, tafadhali wacha kudanganya Wakenya. Wewe ondoka, nenda usome, ukimaliza kusoma, upate sheti, kunja usimame ama usimame mahali unataka, lakini wacha kudanganya Wakenya. Uwezi ukakuwa na certificate fake, alafu waze kutuambia ati unataka kukua kiongozi Kenya hii. Na ningeuliza serikali, hasa DCI, na kila mtu yote anaweza kufanya upelelezi, tafuta hao vinyangalika, weka wao ndani.
Now, Nyaribari Masaba, Member of Parliament Ezekiel Mashogu, has called for peace, tolerance and respect during the electioneering period. Mashogu, who is a gubernatorial candidate in Kisii County under the United Democratic Alliance Party, called on his competitors to embrace cohesion during political rallies and campaigns. Mashogu's appeal comes days after the Azimio la Umoja running mate Martha Karua's political meeting was brought to an abrupt end after a tear gas explosion in Kisii County.
We have had an election. We have witnessed peace and tranquility. We have not had the kind of violence and the chaos that we are witnessing now any time before. Each and every person has a right, a constitutional right, to talk to people, tell people about his agenda, so that out of that persuasion, people can either vote for that particular person or otherwise. So Kisii.
Moving on, at least 180 youths from Ngong, Kajiado County have been rescued and are currently undergoing rehabilitation due to the use of drug abuse. The young people have had the opportunity to learn well in rehabilitation centers, and now they are able to support themselves through the training they have received. Kajiado North MP Joseph Manje is the brain behind the rescue operation for the youth, many of whom are unemployed, and has vowed to ensure youth in the area engage in reproductive work.
Niliweza kuanza maisha street nikiwa na miaka 6-7. Nilipofika miaka 7 nikatoroka nyumbani kabisa na nikaenda nikawa street boy kule mji wa Eldoret. Baada ya miaka 2 nikiwa na umri wa miaka 9 niliweza kuja Nairobi na nikaanza kuwa chokora huko miaka zingine kadhaa 2-3 hivi, na baadaye niliweza kupata nafasi ya kuwa rescued na nikaenda kule Muli Children's Family na nikaanza shule kutoka darasa la kwanza hadi form 4. Alafu hapo nikapata nafasi ya kwenda technical school, nikasomea mechanical engineering kwa miaka 3. Nilipo graduate nikarudi Nairobi, na baada ya kufanya kazi kwa miaka michache, miaka 2 hivi, niliweza kukutana na vijana wa mitaa na ikawa inanisumbua akili sana, na polepole nikaanza kuwa nafanya mentorship, nafanya feeding program, nafanya sports activity, mpaka tukawa tunaweza kujuana nao.
Now I think they are about 150. Sasa Njoroge kwa sababu alikuwa chokora Nairobi pia, wakati alikuja hapa tukapatana, the first thing ni kumwajiri kazi. Njoroge ni mfanyikazi wa constituency office Kajiado North. Huwa ninamlipa every month, huwa nalipwa, lakini hiyo sio muhimu sana kama ile kazi anajitolea na wale financiers ambao wanajaribu kusaidia. Kwa hivyo kuna wale chokora anawashika kutoka even Nairobi, anawalete hapa. Kwa sababu the main idea is to help, at the end of the day, to help all Kenyans.
Now that report takes us for a very short break. We will be right back with more. Do keep it right here.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As religious leaders, we should preach messages of peace, cohesion, humanity, and brotherhood as we play a key role in uniting all Kenyans. We must call our congregants, who include the political leaders, to adopt zero tolerance against all negative messages. There is a threat of increased cases of violence in the country. Let us strongly preach about love among our neighbors. Let us love one another as we are one nation. God bless our beloved country, Kenya.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari. You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back to Newsfeed. Now, KIRINYAGA woman representative Wangui Ngereshe now wants the government to offer relief food to KIRINYAGA residents whom she claims are starving. Speaking in Kevingoti area, KIRINYAGA West, Wangui said that the 1.3 billion shillings which was allocated by Treasury to buy relief food to residents of the arid and semi-arid areas should be shared with other counties, saying KIRINYAGA residents are facing starvation due to the depressed rainfall in the area.
Na wale ambao wako na njaa. Lakini mimi nikiangalia zile counties zimepewa, KIRINYAGA haijapewa. Mnajua ni kwa nini? Mnajua ni kwa nini? Kwa sababu mwenye tuko na yeye kazi yake ni kukimbia nje ya KIRINYAGA, hajuangi wana KIRINYAGA tuko na njaa. She will not get time to give a report that is accurate and truthful to say that the people of KIRINYAGA tuko na shida ya njaa, especially the areas ambako hakuna maji. Ni ukweli ama urongo? Jamani watu wetu, let me tell you. Wacheni tuchague mtu ambaye ako na akili ama ako na roho ya kufikiria na akili ya kufikiria wana KIRINYAGA. We have had 5 years of suffering with someone who never cared about the people of KIRINYAGA. Ile county office ya Kutu Sapo imekatwa stima miezi mitatu, saa ndio zimerudishwa because yule ambaye ni CEO pale hajaifika huko. Kwa hivyo hata kama kuna report mnapeleka huko, hakuna mtu wa kusoma. Kuna mtu ambaye asikizangi wale ambao ni specialist, ambao wale wamekonfirmiwa kwamba kama ni engineer ambaye anaweza kumwambia barabara ni mbaya, hamsikizi, labda hata hamjui jina.
Moving on, coffee farmers around the country are poised to see a profitable income for their produce following the introduction of new regulations that will cut out middlemen. EMBU Senator Njeru Ndwiga said the new regulations mean farmers can now negotiate prices of their produce with potential buyers, unlike in the past when they lost control of their produce once they handed it over to millers who were also marketing agents. Ndwiga said the regulations are a great relief to farmers who will now have better earnings.
This close to 15 tons.
Sheria ambayo tulipitisha, regulation hizo tulipitisha, mbunge ile ilitengenezwa na commission ya coffee reforms, na ile bill ambayo Senate imetengeneza wakati huu, hiyo ndio inafanya mapandiliko ipatikane kwa kahawa. Ndio tumeanza sasa kuona wanunuzi wa kahawa, wale wanapiga mabiashara ya kahawa ulimwengu yote, saa hii wanakuja kununua kahawa kwa mkulima.
That's why I'm here now, how I can help farmers to increase their profit and how I can buy coffee from them directly.
조금 더 폭넓게 자리매김할 것입니다.
The coffee I buy from the farmers will be sell and it will be open the market in Korea.
Mungu ametembea kwetu kupitia hawa wageni, sababu sisi ni wageni, sisi ni wakulima ambaye tunajua kulima. Kwa hivyo kama vile wametuahidi ndivyo watafanya, hebu tutaendelea.
Now it's time to get sporty as the second day of the Athletics Kenya Under-20 trials progressed today at the Nyayo National Stadium, where athletes who will represent the country at the World Under-20 Athletics Championship slated for August 1st to 6th in Cali, Colombia will be named. The competition has attracted a field of 415 athletes from 14 regions, and as the Athletics Kenya President Jackson Tuwei disclosed, the first athlete to cross the finish line will earn a direct qualification into the competition. Our sports reporter Dennis Otieno is at the Nyayo National Stadium following up with the junior trials. Dennis, a very good afternoon to you, and what is the latest from Nyayo so far?
Well, good afternoon to you too, Mudhoni Maina. Now, as of early this morning, all roads in domestic sports were leading to the Nyayo National Stadium, where we were having the World Athletics Under-20 Championship trials that were being held at the Nyayo National Stadium. Now, right behind me, Mudhoni Maina, is a field of athletes who've already been selected to represent Kenya in the competition that is the World Athletics Under-20 Championships. So, as said as of early this morning, because at the moment the competition has already come to a close. Now, the last race that was taking shape before the races came to an end was the 3,000-meter steeplechase that was won by an athlete known as Emmanuel Wanyonyi. So these are about 29 athletes who've been selected, and they will be representing Kenya in the upcoming competition that is known as the World Athletics Under-20 Championships. They're slated to be held in Colombia, a town known as Cali. And the competitions will be held from the dates of 1st of August all the way up to 6th August. Now, right now what is happening is the Athletics Kenya president, his name is Jackson Tuwei, he is basically ratifying the times that were indicated by the athletes, and also at the same time, officially unveiling the team that will be representing the country in the competition. Now, as of yesterday, we saw an athlete known as Maureen Cherotich who won the women's 5,000-meter race, and she emerged victorious. And earlier today, we saw her Cherotich's male counterpart, known as Samuel Kibadi, who emerged victorious in the 5,000-meter race. Now, he won the race in 13 minutes, 47.86 seconds, and Shadrach Chrono came in second. Now, we also saw the defending champion in this competition, that is the 5,000-meter category race, known as Benson Kiplagat. Now, he withdrew from the race with only 5 laps to go. So in that 5,000-meter race category, Athletics Kenya is going to have a very difficult moment in selecting the second athlete that will be representing the country when the competition comes through. Now, like I said, the reason as to why Athletics Kenya held this competition is because they wanted to select a team that will represent the country. Now, I cannot get, to have a hand of any official, because at the moment the speeches are already ongoing. So I've tried to talk to some of the coaches, I've tried to talk to the team which is already lined up, but it is quite difficult to get a hold of them right now because the ratification and the official unveiling of the squad is currently ongoing. So they cannot break protocol, and they cannot actually come into this interview and have a conversation with us. So Mudhoni, that is the team that has been selected. These are the officials who are definitely ratifying, and as of the moment, we can see the officials are definitely walking towards the athletes, and they are just about to congratulate the team and definitely officially unveil the team, and that is the team that is going to be representing Kenya in the athletics, in the World Under-20 Athletics Championships that will be held in Cali, Colombia. So, Muthoni Maina, it is definitely a developing story. We will be following up with whatever is going on at the Nyayo National Stadium. We'll be bringing you up to speed, but the main thing is that 29 athletes, junior athletes, have been selected to represent Kenya. And remember, this is the team of the future. This is the team that is going to replace the senior team. So Muthoni Maina, while the ceremony is continuing, we will be bringing you up to speed and we'll be giving you more details.